Hey, welcome back, everybody. And yep, we've got another Saturday episode. It's super exciting. But the real question is November the beginning of the 2024 housing bubble? Now, we're going to go over that, and that's actually going to be in three different parts because, well, otherwise this video would be super long, and nobody likes a super long video. You guys like them short. So with that, let's keep this one to the metrics. And then we're going to head down and we're going to talk about what the heck is going on with the end of November, the CARES Act, and foreclosures. That will be a subsequent or later episode that will be coming out. But let's talk about the metrics. So remember, as you guys are going through this, make sure that, here, let's get the right screen up there. Make sure you like, subscribe. Hey, share this. Here's the key thing. This is all free information. The more you guys like it and subscribe, most importantly, why don't you guys just like it and share it? The key benefit is the algorithm that YouTube has, and of course on the other platforms, is it allows more people to see it. And that, at the end of the day, is super important so they can make the best business decision possible. So anyway, smash that subscribe button. Moving on. All right. When we take a look at what's going on in the market, because there's a lot of folks that are saying, hey, George, what the heck, man? We've got low inventory. Interest rates were on the rise, and they came down a little bit. And we're hearing a lot of noise out there that our market should be absolutely crashing. And it's not. They've been saying it for years. It hasn't happened. It's not happening. What the heck? What's going to go on? And so really at the end of the day, there's been a lot of things that have been artificially making our economy do crazy things. Like in 2020, 2021, the Feds bought down the rate. And by doing so, the real estate market went absolutely crazy. Now, that was artificial. Then when they quit buying mortgage-backed securities and actually started selling mortgage-backed securities, boom, the interest rates went way the heck up. But you're like, George, holy smokes, why didn't the market crash? Everybody's been waiting for the market to crash. Well, when you have 70% of the homeowners that are below, in the fours are below 4%, some as low as 2.6%, they're not willing to trade that mortgage for 7.5%. That financially just doesn't make sense. And there's some pretty smart people out there, and therefore our inventory is super low. However, we still have a massive pent-up demand of buyers. We still have buyers that want to own their home. They know that the biggest nut every single month is housing. And if housing is the biggest nut, they want to fix it because guess what? Interest rates have been going up. Home prices slowly flat up, flat up, flat up. Nothing remarkable, but still heading in an upward trend. They are not going down. Then we piggyback the fact that rental costs have been continuing to go up. Again, not like this, but gradually going up. So they know that the only way to stabilize or to give some form of consistency is to own a home. Plus, you start building equity versus paying people like myself, which I prefer, rent, which makes us happy because then we capitalize on that equity. All right, I digress. Moving on. So when we take a look at what is going on and what should we be expecting, one of the first things to understand is we should start seeing a seasonal slowdown of homes coming on market and a seasonal slowdown of buyers pretty much after Thanksgiving. It's already started to see a little bit of a slowdown. However, we're still moving along. In fact, when we take a look at our next chart here, hang on a second here, let's pop that up. Okay, you can see by the last year, normal inventory comes down, sales drop off. January, February, boop, they start popping back up again. And then we actually start seeing some of that activity as far as the spring market where we see a big influx coming in. This is normal stuff. However, when we take a look at our 7-day running average, look, we have 719 homes that came on market, right? Scroll down, we look at that. We have 965 pended and 679 that actually sold. Now, scroll back up again. Look at this. We've got 121 that came back on market. That was a sale that failed. And then, of course, we had 588 homes that actually did a price reduction, which we are seeing that start to change. We're seeing that price reduction start to happen, so that or that reduction of people doing a price reduction because they're pricing better, which is good. Now, granted, when you take a look at new on market and what has sold, right? So we're still going, I shouldn't say sold, pended. We're still seeing more homes going pended than coming on market. And we're still drawing down that inventory. However, is that has started to slow. In fact, we started to close that gap. And that gap, as we take a look at, let's pop over here to, hang on a second, let me change screens. Let's take a look at this right here. All right, you can see our year to date. So we have we're down 27, almost 28% or 25,000 homes year over year less on market. 17,200 homes have sold, 13,200 homes less have actually gone pending. Less. Now, what's interesting is if we take a look at our next little chart here, hang on, let me open this up. We look at this, you can see that all of even last year, month over month of the same year, we're at 4.3% more pended sales. And part of that is the fact that we're seeing a lot more new construction coming on that is making up a lot of that gap. However, when we take a look at the fact that interest rates have now started to come back down and we've seen a surge of applications coming back in again, the super important part about all of this is we take a look at what is happening in the market. We're seeing a few less pended sales and we're seeing a few less homes coming on market, and we're starting to close that gap because before, when we take a look at when it used to be like 22%, less inventory, 18%. Well, now we're down to 10. We're actually getting pretty close to where we were last year, and that is expected. Now, that also means that if interest rates continue to come down, if the Feds do pivot and we do start to see a recession, we will see mortgage rates start coming down a little bit more. Now, hang on a second. Don't think that we're going to get back down into the fours, because that realistically is not going to happen. That is not in the cards, all right? And in fact, Andy at ICE, which is Intercontinental Exchange, Inc., who bought Black Knight, loan servicing and data, he made a very important distinction on MSNBC, and that is this. In order for homes to become, quote unquote, affordable, all right, we would need income to go up by either 55% or we would need a 38% drop in home values. And I don't see that one happening either. So choices 1 and 2, I don't see happening. Or mortgage rates getting down 4 points or 4% or getting back down into the 4% range. I don't see that happening either. So as far as the affordability scale, that is still going to be a very tough nut. Now, as we roll into 2024, yes, I do see us getting potentially into the high to mid sixes. I think that we will start to see that adjustment. However, there's a looming item that's happening at the end of November with the CARES Act that has been holding back a lot of foreclosures. We'll get into that again on the next episode a little bit later. Okay. Let's take a look at our next chart here. When we take a look at new construction is actually doing super well, right? So new construction here, as you can see, let me blow this up for you guys a little bit. All right, so here we go. So year to date. So when we take a look at it, we're 8.1% down on inventory. New on market is down 2.8, but look, we're up 285 homes. It's sold at 1,331, or about 21% more of a number of pendants and number of solds that have happened year over year. Again, when we take a look at that, we also talk about, hey, with these numbers in new construction, is this sustainable? Can this continue to happen? And the answer is no. I don't think so, because I think the runway of builder buy downs, because we talk about it, right? We talk about Pulte and D.R. Horton and Toll, who they've got to have to be at least 50, 60% of all new construction that is built out there. It's got to be. They are nationwide, including, let's throw Lennar in there too. They're the biggest builders, and they have their own mortgage departments, and they've been buying down rates. How much? Well, at when rates were at 7 3/4, 7.8, 7.9, hit into the 8s and then came back down again. They were offering 6.5, 5.5, 4.99. Some of them on adjustable rate mortgages or an ARM. Some of them on fixed, depending on what it was, because they, instead of affecting price in a plat, which is super important for them to maintain what we call plat integrity, right? They actually would do the inverse. They would credit back for either additional upgrades or on interest rate being the big one, and why a lot of buyers went there, because, well, hey, you could buy more for less because your interest rate was significantly less. The biggest impact on our real estate market next to inventory that's been happening over the last year and a half. Now, when we take that and we take a look at how much longer can a builder do this as their margins continue to decrease, even though they're making houses smaller, even though they are reducing the cost of material and whatnot that they're putting into homes, how far can they go? I don't think it's much far. If interest rates go above 8%, that's going to be a tough nut. They won't be able to buy down those rates to those super incentive rates. They'll buy them down still, but just not at that price point. But the problem is their prices can't go up that much more, because otherwise they're taking a loss. And so the runway that they have for getting the buy downs on mortgage rates, I think, is they're hitting right up next to that wall. And why between now and the end of December is a fabulous time to lock into a lower rate that you may not see, maybe never ever, or at least for a lot of years. All right, moving on. If we take a look at the foreclosures, let's move over one chart here, and we take a look at this. This is super interesting, right? So you can see the margins here. So the light green is a home, or that light green are the homes that are available inventory. Dark green is sold. Blue is what's new on market, and of course red is pending. And you can see that compared to last year, those are the red horizontal lines, are where we were at last year and where we're at today. Now, what's super important about this and to understand is this: we've got a very limited foreclosure inventory, and it has been kept down artificially for a lot of years, like since 2020. And the reason is that they have what's called the CARES Act, and that has been pulling things back. And we're going to make that part of a second video. I'm going to go into it a lot, but an important timeline for you guys to remember, and including some of the lenders that we work with. Remember, November 30th, the CARES Act, boom, stops. So we have seen an increase in defaults, and including what we call extreme defaults, where they're on the verge of foreclosure. We have seen those start to increase. Not so much in our area. We have seen some, but definitely nationwide, there are areas that are starting to see this. And as of November 30th, there is no more safety net for these. And funny enough, most of them are FHA, which is part 3 of that. Or maybe that'll be part 2. We'll see. Anyway, we'll talk about why those loans might become advantageous for buyers out there, because FHA loans are assumable for the most part. There is a longer process, but there's a way of coming in and doing that, which again will be that next video series. But understand, as we look at foreclosures, in fact, let's pop open this window, this video right here. Okay, so year to date, even though our numbers show almost a 40% increase, that's only 20 homes, right? Then we take a look at new on market. Hey, we're up almost 10%, 31 homes. That's peanuts. 10%, for solds. And then, of course, 16, 17%, or, 39 homes that have gone pending, 22 more that have sold, 31 more that is on. But if I roll over Look at this. You take a look at the same time, same month over month, it's 211.1%. That's absolutely crazy. Now, understand we're dealing with pretty small numbers, and we can have a lot of fun with really small numbers because, you double one, and that's a 100% increase. It goes to 3, that's a 200% increase. It's crazy. But that's all, or I would say most of Washington state. So those numbers are super small. However, that doesn't mean that we're out of the woods. Because again, the folks that have had the opportunity to stave off a foreclosure process ends on November 30th. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out. That's why will 2024 be a bigger bubble as we take a look at defaults and everything else that's coming into play. All right. Now, with that being said, if we move on to our next slide here and we look at things a little bit on the bigger scale, okay, we can see that with foreclosures, if we were to take a 70% increase, that would be a pretty monumental impact on what we are seeing with the foreclosure inventory and what's going on in our market area. And partly that's what some folks are saying we should expect, which is why you're hearing a lot of folks saying, hey, this is going to be as bad as 2008. Again, 2007 through 2010, our area actually did very well compared to other areas. Why? Well, economy, job base, things like that. The biggest challenge back in 2008, 9, and 10 was the lack of jobs. Now, we are seeing more jobless claims being filed, which is a little bit of a concern. Plus, we're seeing some other metrics line up that are saying, hey, will this be an issue? Maybe, maybe not. The only savings grace is that, again, our inventory is super low and there's still a pent-up demand of buyers. And if we can get the mortgage rates down into the 6s again, our market will absolutely go ape again. Anyway, moving on. All right, now, super important when we take a look at rates. So as you can see, we've dropped down to par pricing at 7.56 or 7.5 as far as Freddie Mac goes. And that is partly because we have seen the jobless claims that have been coming in. So the reports weren't doing well. So treasuries dropped down, bonds headed up, and mortgage rates came down because the bonds and the 10-year treasury follow that side by side. Now, hopefully, Ms. Yellen has stopped her lunacy of selling off, debt for the 10, the treasuries at these crazy rates, which is going to have a massive negative impact on our future market. Hopefully, they see the error of her ways, and in fact, the Fed report that actually gives her instructions have given her a pretty clear message to knock it off. We will see what she decides to do. Who knows? Anyway, that will have an impact in 2024 as far as our debt, because right now, interest rate, has hit $1 trillion just in interest, which is unheard of. And again, that's why 2024, 25 might be a super interesting market. We shall see. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about November. Little action here. As many of you know, I'm in the Redmond Rotary Club. And here's the thing. So we've got Rotary First Harvest. They get and collect a lot of foods from different stores and whatnot before they toss them out that are still viable. They use it to go ahead and provide to different families. And the super cool part, we can feed a lot of families. Some folks are like, hey, is there a way that I can help? Is there a way we can do things to help with Rotary First Harvest or help giving back to the community and things like that? And the answer is yes. There's a lot of great ways to do that. And if you want more, we will put the link down below so that you guys can go ahead and take a look and see if you want to just go down there and help out. $20 can buy, I think it's 100 pounds of food for families that are in need, especially with inflation, and to help with hunger, especially this time of year. We always contribute heavy along with Seattle Children's Hospital, which our donation is going to be going out, I believe, next week. And if you want to participate, let us know. In the meantime, remember, like, subscribe, and share, and smash that subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next couple of episodes. In the meantime, have a beautiful day. It's a little stormy outside, so stay dry. Take care.